So these questions fit together like puzzles. They give us some information here, they set up the context of what we're evaluating. It's the researcher's assertion, which is this hypothesis, which is that brittle equals moisture, and D at least addresses that issue of moisture. Let's go ahead and pick that and confirm our answer. So GMAT questions are designed very systematically. They fit tightly like puzzles do. And when we can point and connect all these things, we can be pretty sure that we have the correct answer. Great. Let's take a look at another evaluation or proposal of a plan question. Go ahead and read the question and read the paragraph. Okay, it sounds like a bit of a data dump here. They're just giving me a bunch of information. Let me pull it out. New parts are twice as expensive as the old ones. But will save in long run. Because of their cut down on the need for routine maintenance and repairs and extending life. So new parts are twice the cost of the old parts, but they'll save money in the long run. So which of the following is most critical in evaluating the accuracy of the claims to the left? So this is a tough question. The relative cost of repairing the MOH versus maintaining it so as to avoid routine breakdowns. Let's hold on to that answer. The amount of research and development that was invested in perfecting the new computer engineering process so the new computer engineering process, this answer does not seem to be addressing the issue here of the cost of the new one versus the cost of the old one versus the increase or decrease in the maintenance cost and the long-term life of the parts. The cost of the new computer engineered replacements parts, okay, this is definitely in there, the cost of the new parts compared to the savings produced by its improvements over the old replacement parts. Well, that's what they're talking about. They're saying that it'll save in the long run, so they want to compare the costs of these new parts, which are 2x, versus the savings, as we talked about here, over the old replacement parts. Let's hold on to that one. The resources expended by the MOH manufacturers in publicizing the new parts. Okay, so this is not, I don't think this is the most critical in evaluating the accuracy of the claims to the left. I'm not sure what publicizing has to do with the costs and the maintenance and those issues. The projected reduction in the cost of the new computer engineered parts as the manufacturing technique is standardized. So this first part I'm liking. The projected reduction in the cost of the new computer engineered parts. Well, actually this seems like a bit of a mix-up. The projected reduction in the cost of the new computer engineered parts, they don't talk about. The new parts are twice as much. So the projected reduction in these costs seems a bit out of the scope of this argument. Let's go back to these two. The relative cost of repairing them versus maintaining them. It looks like they're just trying to mix it up by pulling in words that were in the passage, whereas C is really addressing the issue of the cost of the new parts versus the cost of the savings in the long run. I'm going to go ahead and pick C. You notice how, for me, when I come across an answer that I'm not sure if it's right, or like I said, if it gave me a headache just reading it, I don't eliminate it, I don't pick it, I just leave it. It's okay if I get it down to 2 answer choices that I have to come back and look at again. Don't spend 2 minutes reviewing one answer choice. The GMAT wins, almost even if you get that correct. So if it takes you 5 minutes to answer a question correctly on the GMAT wins and you lose. Because if it takes you 5 minutes to get a question correct, you're not going to have enough time to get the other questions correct. Maybe you can do that once on the GMAT. But just imagine, if you spend 5 minutes on 2 or 3 questions, that's a whole chunk of the time that you have to work that entire section gone on 2 or 3 questions. Even if you get them correct, it's not likely that it was worth that amount of time. You can do it once or twice, but you can't be spending multiple 5-minute chunks on questions, so certainly don't be spending 2 minutes on an answer choice. If you're not sure about it, leave it, come back, eliminate the ones that you can, and work with what's left over. Awesome. Let's take a look at complete the passage questions. GMAT likes these, not sure why. I kind of got the evaluation of a plan questions in terms of how they relate to being in the business world or getting your master's in business administration. Not entirely sure why they like these. I guess they just needed some more questions to ask. If someone knows, let me know. So, complete the passage questions. How do we ID these? There's usually a blank at the end of the statement. Just like literally a blank, like fill in this blank. How do we break down the paragraph? We're basically dealing with the same thing as we are on the other ones. We're looking at either a data dump or we're looking at some sort of story that they're giving us that we have to sort of finish. Again, concentrate on language before logic, and we'll see how we can pull out. There has to be something in the paragraph that connects to, I'm like pointing to something here and you can't see my hand. There has to be something in the paragraph that connects to something in the answer choices. So we're going to identify that little piece that connects those two. Let's take a look. Go ahead and read this question. Which of the following best completes the passage? All right, the question is basically leading us to that, and we're seeing the little blank here. So while I cough, go ahead and read that answer, that paragraph to yourself. Okay, so this is the word that I like here, demonstrated. One of these answer choices is going to demonstrate the issue brought up in the paragraph. And what was brought up? What was brought up was that salaries at big companies, employees at large companies must be compensated as increase of it should be more than small. We're looking for something that demonstrates this point. Okay? So A, the most dedicated entrepreneurs are different in that they often work for riskier ventures without worrying about the base salary. I don't think this demonstrates this point, but let's just hold on to it. It was the first answer. Bulge bracket companies set higher initial base salary than smaller startup companies. So this seems like a demonstration of this point. And the reason I know that bulge bracket companies are larger is that they use this word smaller here. So these bigger companies set higher initial base salaries than smaller startup companies. This is a demonstration of this point. I'm liking this answer. C, if the stock market is booming, the increases in compensation to government offices may not keep pace with the cost of living increases. This is out of the scope of the passage. Government offices, they don't talk about the size of anything. This does not seem to demonstrate this point. Let's get rid of it. In an international joint venture, ooh, how exciting, similar jobs in the project often pay matching salaries, regardless of which company an employee works for. That doesn't seem to be a demonstration of this. Salaries in well-funded startup companies, okay, I'm liking that. They were talking about small companies. On net, salaries in well-funded startup companies can be, on net, greater than those at larger blue-chip companies. So can be, to me, is not a very good description of or demonstration of this. And well-funded startup companies doesn't necessarily mean they're small. People call Facebook and Google startups sometimes, and those are not small companies. So I like B. It talks about, it's a good demonstration of this point. They talk about bigger companies having higher base salaries than smaller companies. I'm going to go with it. Nice. The takeaway here is that we're looking for a demonstration of the point made in the paragraph. So I'm following what they asked me to do. Find an answer choice that demonstrates something in the paragraph. That's not necessarily the task on every single complete the passage question. I got the task from the paragraph. The task was to ID something that demonstrates this. Whereas on a weaken question, I'm getting the task probably from the question to find which answer choice weakens. Here, I'm getting my task from the paragraph. Great, let's take a look at another one. Which of the following best completes the passage to the left? We got the completes the passage, we got the blank. Looks like we've got one of these complete the passage questions. Go ahead and read the paragraph and we'll work this one together. So I'm pulling out my task from the paragraph. 3 out of 5 American children, according to a recent survey, claim that they floss their teeth daily. This survey, however, may overestimate the ratio of children that floss because. So why is this overestimating? Why is it overestimating? Which of the following? Because some children who floss might not have claimed that they floss daily. Some children who floss, okay, that's right. We're talking about that group. Might not have claimed that they floss daily. What would this do, Jake?
It seemed like it would do the opposite.
This would do the opposite. This would actually underestimate. So this is really close, right? They're using the right language to attract us to it, but it's quite frankly the opposite. And the GMAT, strangely enough, because of the way human minds work, the opposite answer choice can often be very attractive because all of the words are there except for the logic is flipped. And when we're working quickly and trying to remember and think at the same time, we can pick these answers. Everything good? Mm-hmm. B, people who floss at all tend to floss twice daily. Okay, so this doesn't help us because just because you floss twice, it doesn't increase the number or the ratio of people flossing. Either you floss or you don't to be in this group, so the number of times that you're flossing isn't going to help us out. Some children taking the survey might floss once a week. So some might. I'm going to hold on to this. Some children who do not floss, okay, might have been honest on the survey. Okay, then that would tell us that the survey was accurate. If they were, and this might, I'm not sure what that is doing in this answer choice. Some children who do not floss might have claimed that they floss daily. This, I think, would overestimate. Because if these kids, these troublemakers, are saying they're flossing when in fact they have not, it would overestimate this number. Whereas C, some children taking the survey might floss once a week. Okay, that's fine. I think this is the answer. Great. So we got our task again from the paragraph. We wanted to know why they're overestimating. And the reason might be that some children who do not floss might have claimed that they floss daily. And that would overestimate. Awesome. So we're going to actually take a look at 3 more critical reasoning questions. We're going to work these on our own and then review them together. Let's take a look. I want you to identify it, work the question, and tell me what the answer choice is in the chat box. You have 2 minutes.